You probably already know that it's getting more and harder for young women to make ends meet and establish committed relationships with males in today's market. Since most men do not consider most modern women to be marriage or parent material, it is understandable that these women have a more difficult time convincing men to make a long-term commitment to them. If you look at this generation, you'll see that a sizable percentage of its members are disoriented and experiencing emotional distress. Given that these ladies are not stable personalities and would gladly sell their moist vice grip to make some extra cash, it is darn near impossible for a guy of affluence to take them seriously. The majority of today's youth either don't want children or are content to put off parenthood in the same way that previous generations have. As a result, today's women are less likely to put having children at the top of their list of priorities. And so begins the ladies of new generation terrible decline. But as I've always said, if these folks wind up alone and lonely, you shouldn't feel bad for them. Many of these ladies still have a second chance at life if they would just settle down themselves. Women of Generation Z are more likely to enter the workforce, and they are also driving up demand for new homes, appliances, automobiles, and other necessities of adulthood. Therefore, the increase in annual consumer spending is attributable in large part to these newly formed households. Their job goals, however, are influenced by the way they see millennial mothers handled by the American government and businesses, and their findings will have a domino impact on the economy. Women of Generation Z are more likely to be in the workforce than millennial women, but they expect to have fewer children and delay having any at all. Over 1,000 people in Generation Z were surveyed recently, and 27% said they didn't want children when asked why. The mentality of today's young women, which holds that they may put off establishing romantic partnerships with males until later in life, has been the undoing of the preceding two generations and ensured that these women would end up dying alone. Also, many guys of that generation have already given up on love and see little use in trying to find one. Men stopped wanting to be in partnerships when women made the decision to stop respecting males and start doing whatever they wanted to their bodies. Males of Generation Z have been raised with the message that women are as good as, if not better than, men. Women may be happy and successful without a guy. That garbage about men being inferior is just nonsense. That means they are through with women altogether. Men of a certain age who have been deeply hurt by women of their own generation tend to give up on romantic attachment altogether. It appears from this text that women generally choose not to marry. Men of any age, it seems, are unwilling to commit to today's women because of the way they've been commercialized and are willing to sell themselves at any cost. Working parents place a premium on receiving encouragement and assistance from their employers, in addition to competitive benefits packages. Some people are considering this data as they choose whether to remain with the company or whether to pursue motherhood at all. What they don't say is that once pregnant, the women rush to the hospital to have the baby removed, and the economy and work culture both have a factor in whether or not women opt to have children. In any case, it's not as if all these ladies are utilizing protection up to the point where they're becoming pregnant. They are becoming pregnant, but they aren't carrying the babies to term. These women were also taught to delay motherhood and prioritize their professions. They no longer want to have children because of how millennials are treated in the job. The falling birth rate is due to womanism, early terminations, and difficult circumstances like we're witnessing now, and less and fewer marriages, not any darn employment conditions. No doubt there will be fewer babies born as a result of men's reluctance to commit to long-term relationships and marriage. In addition, some form of medicine is required for many of these women to operate, and this alters their behavior and decision-making on a regular basis. So please exercise extreme caution. It's possible that the individual with whom you're interacting has mental health issues and is also an addict. According to a research conducted in 2022 on the condition of motherhood, more than 2%, but just 22% of millennials are skeptics. A number of those people point to their chosen profession as the driving force. 40% are unhappy and want to work and raise a family simultaneously, but would require a different structure at work to do so. I get that it would be challenging to take time off during pregnancy and then return to work after giving birth, even with a partner, but at least there would have been more money coming in to pay some of the costs. Therefore, they shouldn't have been depending on the business to make the choice on whether or not to start a family. Their husbands should be having that discussion. Men aren't staying around to be married, therefore, a wedding is no longer an option. That makes a lot more sense to me than blaming the business, so I can now see how everything fits together. Even without paid leave, a man can take care of his pregnant wife until she is ready to return to work if the couple is married. The fact that most births are to lone mothers explains why these women are rethinking starting a family. Gents, no need to save them. Give them money for their services.